Alrighty, everybody, welcome to another interview session here with the UNI athlete. We got UNI wrestler Taylor Lujan here with us. Taylor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Sun's shining. Pretty nice out. So
How's your adjustment been since we've been out of quarantine right now?
yeah, it's been all right. Nothing drastic has changed. I mean, still trying to work out as much as I can, but kind of limited. But everyone's adjusting accordingly.
And you're back. Are you back in Georgia? Or are you still in Cedar Falls?
I'm still in Cedar Falls.
You're in Cedar Falls now, coming from Georgia. It's kind of you don't really see that connection a lot with UNI, Georgia. I'm always interested with people from out of state with a little smaller university. I mean, UNI is not a small university by any means, but smaller. What made you want to come up to UNI from Georgia?
I think the culture of the team at the time, and I connected a lot with the guys, and Doug's such a genuine dude and very personable. I just trusted him right from the get-go, believed everything he was saying to me, and I knew there wasn't any smoke and mirrors with him, so I just trusted him, and I liked being around the guys on the team, and it was good. I like the small town feel, like not small town, but like I liked how UNI felt being a smaller school. It feels like a closer knit community, and I like that. Like I didn't want to get lost in wherever, but I like the environment up here.
And what were your other colleges that you were looking at other than UNI when you first got out of high school?
Nebraska, Minnesota, and like Arizona State, a few of those, and a little bigger than UNI, but no, this school couldn't have been any better for me, I feel.
What was number two option? So if you had UNI, was there any like real chance you're going to go to those other universities, or was it always UNI that you thought you would go to?
I was close to, I think, Nebraska and Minnesota. But I think, I remember talking to people, like, in my heart, and I knew, like, UNI was the place for me. And it was just up to me to get past all the BS, and not just say BS, but, like, stuff that mattered more to me, like the coaches, the environment and stuff. And, like, it's hard not to get caught up to the name of the school, especially coming from a big football town. People go to big schools, go to Alabama, go to Auburn, Georgia, and staying true to who I am and listening to what my gut was saying to me.
Was there a part of you that wanted to go to a Georgia if they did recruit you?
No, I think I always knew I was going to have to leave the South. And it was good for me to grow up and kind of leave the nest,
And when you were at UNI, came in as a freshman, went 11-3 as a freshman, then redshirted. What led you to being redshirt? Was it just a lack of wrestling time, or was it just an injury, or what was the redshirt reason?
Redshirt, my first year, maturity, kind of growing to the wrestler that time, because all of us were 18 years old, and Bryce Tire was the only freshman in our class who didn't redshirt, but I think he was maybe more ready to go than I was and a lot of us. So just kind of growing as wrestler and getting adjusted to college, I think was the big reason for that redshirt year.
And then you came in 174. Same weight as Drew Foster, who ended up winning a national championship at UNI. Was he a big mentor for you while you were at UNI?
Yeah, we're good friends, and I like hanging out with Drew and talking to him, and, picking his brain, especially about this year and maybe some pressures that came along with the run he made at nationals. He's a great guy. Good. I mean, I consider us pretty good friends.
How were the wrestle-offs like in practice? Who would come out on top more often than not?
Drew would. He's so explosive and so long. Like he can take me down quite a bit.
And then once you went through college, had a nice career at 174, and then your senior year bumped up to 184. What was the reason you bumped up to 184? Was that just a more natural weight, or did you want a new challenge for your senior year?
I wanted a new challenge. I think the change-up was good for me, and it gave me something to focus on, like my diet, like working out a lot more, and it gave me the opportunity to fully commit back to the sport of wrestling and to kind of help me fall back in love with it. So I think it was good for my head too, and not just good for my body to let it grow and get bigger. And
yeah, and would you say you're a more natural 174? You were more natural 184?
I'm probably more of a natural 74 pounder. I had to work pretty hard to get up to be a decent size 84 pounder. So I think 74 is probably a more natural weight for me.
And I wrestled 1 year in high school, and when I had to move up a weight class, and there was someone that was moving down a weight class. So I know like the difference of the person moving down usually has the upper hand on the person moving up because they've been at that weight before. The other person hasn't really been at that. So is there like a little trials of tribulation type thing when you first moved up to 184?
What you like mean in the sense of
Was there like a
like hurting my stripes almost?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like, I was very excited to get to wrestle some of those top names that way. We went to the Harold Nichols Open. I got to wrestle the Iowa State guy who was 84 at the time. He was one of the top guys. I got to wrestle the Nebraska guy, and then I don't know. I was more excited. I didn't look at it as earning my stripes. I feel like I'd already have, just because being a senior, been around the block a little bit, knowing the name of the college game kind of thing. But I don't know. I think too, cutting weights not necessarily the best thing to do in wrestling. I feel like when you're eating and working hard and training, like that's where you're gonna get your best wrestling. Not so much when you're focused on cutting weight.
And during your senior season, you guys had some really intense matches, especially the one against Oklahoma State at the McLeod Center. What was that experience like, wrestling against a big-time powerhouse in wrestling and beating them at the McLeod Center?
Oh man, it was awesome. I mean, it just proves to us as a team that we're doing the right things, and we're one of the best teams in the country. And it's just, people are calling it an upset. We're like, well, we know how good we are. We're the cat's ass the way we look at it. Bees knees, whatever. I don't know, but it was an awesome experience because we don't wrestle in McLeod much. It's not the West Gym. We like the West Gym, but getting that many fans in McLeod, they're pretty rowdy too. You see someone like Keaton Gertz go out there, get a great win. Mikey looked good. Even Schwarm had a barn burner match with Piccanini, who's I think a 3-time or 2-time All-American. I mean, just everyone wrestled really well. It was awesome. Bryce Tire wrestling JoJo Smith, who had beat him, I think, 2 years previous. I don't know. There's a lot of different emotions and things that went on in that duel, and it was, I don't know. It's pretty awesome. Probably one of my favorite duels.
What do you think the big difference is between the West Gym and the McLeod Center? Is just the size? Because I actually never been to a UNI wrestling match at the West Gym, but I've heard that atmosphere doesn't make it feel as small as it is. So is that like the big difference?
It's and then like our wrestling room's right there, so it's more of a comfort for us. But then, I mean, the fans, they're right on top of you. It's a pretty compact place. And it's unbelievable, too, because back in 1950, they actually wrestled the NCAA tournament in there. So, I mean, there's a ton of history. We've been in there forever. And just the fans are on you. It's hot, it's loud, it's rowdy. I mean, it's just a different experience. Like, I think for sure one of the top places to wrestle in the United States has a college program.
And I was upset that I didn't go to a meet this year, so I think I was walking to one of my classes before we got everything canceled, and I had to walk into the West Gym. And I walked in there, was looking around, I was like, man, I'm upset I didn't actually get to experience this. So it just looks like it'd be a surreal experience in there.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I think maybe the history plays a big part too. And just, if you're a fan, you get to walk around, you see all the national champs, All-Americans, and even the Olympic and world medalists. I mean, like all of our history's in there. So it's something very special to us for sure. And we're about the only ones in there too. Like we're the last of the sports who stay there. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, we take pride in the West Gym and being our building where we train, sweat, and every day.
Do you have any memorable moments in the West Gym or any matches that stick out more than others?
I got some funny workouts that stick out to me. Seeing a few guys get after and get pretty rowdy with one another. I remember my freshman year I wrestled this guy from Virginia Tech, and it was my second duel in there, and I had a barn burner with him, and I was like, this is unbelievable. This year, the match against the Nebraska guy was a fun one. I don't know, there's all sorts of ones that stick out, I guess. Every Iowa State one that's at West Gym is super enjoyable because the fans are on top of you.
There's always a big hot button topic with UNI wrestling fans and wrestling Iowa. Do you think wrestling at the West Gym is something that Iowa just doesn't want to do, or do you think there's something more with that, why Iowa won't wrestle UNI?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say, and I wouldn't like to speculate on anything I think or I've heard, but I don't know, that's probably none of my business. My job's to be there to wrestle and perform as well as I can, not to worry about who's in front of me.
How do you guys think you guys would do against the Iowa Hawkeyes if you guys were to wrestle them?
I'll bet on our team all day long.
That's what I like to hear. This year, lost only 2 matches this year, ranked number 1 at 184, had a 19-match win streak, and then you go into the NCAA tournament as the number 1 overall seed, and then all of a sudden, it's just no more. What was that feeling like when you heard that the NCAA tournament would be over or wasn't going to happen for wrestling?
Disappointment. This is what the whole year was about. This is what the past 18 years was about for me, is finally becoming a national champ and getting that opportunity. And I don't know, I guess disappointment, but then understanding too, there's a lot bigger things going on right now than just me not being able to wrestle 5 matches. So, what happens for us is such a small sliver of what was going on in the world. So, and we're all in it together. We're not the only sport that got canceled. Mm-hmm. I wish they would have given us our year back for sure, but it is what it is. Move forward and start focusing on freestyle now.
So that's your plans for after college, focus more on freestyle wrestling?
Yeah. Start wrestling, freestyle. Start training, getting geared up for that. We got unbelievable people I get to wrestle with too. So, couldn't ask for much more.
And you talking about going to the NCAA tournament. Bryce Tire, along with you, won the Big 12 tournament at your guys' weights. What kind of wrestler is Bryce Tire? How would you describe Bryce?
Dude, he's like the peanut butter in the small of your back. You can't get him off of you. He's just a brick house. He's a gritty dude. Tough guy, strong, athletic, and he's very, very smart and intelligent too. So he's a fun guy to pick his brain what he thinks too. He's an awesome guy. I don't think I would have wrestled or done as well in college without him. I think I can thank him. I can't thank him enough.
Did you guys ever go at it and practice a lot?
Oh yeah, those were. I made sure I ate my Wheaties those mornings. Knowing I was going to wrestle with Bryce that afternoon. You get that text, "Hey, you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah." Let me start getting ready for the day.
Is that what makes wrestling different than all other sports? Because it's mano a mano, it's just you against another person, and you're beating another person. Is that what makes wrestling so fun?
Yeah, and it's will against will. It's like you said, mano, man against man. It's so, and the only person you can blame is yourself, whether it's a positive or negative. So there's so much self-ownership that comes with it, and so much how to word it. You feel so proud. There's moments where you feel proud because you did it. So
with the season, with your UNI career, 126 and 26 as a UNI Panther, how would you wrap up your Panther career so far?
Not as successful as I wanted it to be. I don't know. It was all right. I did a lot of winning, did a lot of losing, made some good memories. I'd say it was good. I did a lot of. I don't know if I'd say it was as successful because I wanted this last tournament to kind of verify it for myself. So it's hard for me to say what it was, but I don't know. I've had a good career at UNI. I'm happy with it.
You had a great career at UNI.
I appreciate it.
And as we're wrapping this up, I've got some rapid fire questions for you. It's just the first thing that pops in your head, pretty much.
All right.
So rate UNI's the team's season out of 10, if you could.
Out of 10, 7.
Then what would you rate your individual season?
7, 8.
Did you have any pre-match rituals going into each match?
I used to be very superstitious to a point where it was a fault. But this year I didn't. I just went out there and wrestled. So maybe that was a difference maker.
I noticed this in some of the.
Here's one. I wear wool socks.
How hot do your feet get during the wrestling?
Oh, they're steaming, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I put my working socks on.
And I looked at UNI's Twitter account and all the stuff that they've posted pictures, UNI's wrestling Twitter account, and all the pictures I saw of you, you had these brightly colored shoes on. Was that another thing that you did throughout your career?
Yeah, that don't know. My dad wasn't all for it back when I was in high school, so I saw an opportunity to kind of be my own person, I guess, and took it out with wearing bright colored shoes. And they were comfortable. I like how Adidas feel too. They were Adidas, and I started wearing Nikes.
And was your dad a big reason why you got started up in wrestling?
Yeah, I'd say so. You know, he wrestled in college and everything, and I always knew that. And I remember getting a little pamphlet, brochure, or whatever with wrestling or boxing. And I was like, hey, can I do one of them? He's like, yeah, you can wrestle. You know, and he helped me so much when I was younger because he was a college wrestler too. So he kind of knew the tricks of the trade and everything that kind of went into it.
So there's like this famous clip of Peyton Manning talking about when he was a little kid, his favorite wrestler or his favorite football player was his dad. My next question on here was, who was your favorite wrestler growing up? Would you say your dad was your favorite wrestler?
I never got to see my dad wrestle. I'd love to see some old clips, but I grew up enjoying. I watched a lot of like Brett Metcalf. There's some other guys. Been watching a lot of Dave Schultz lately. I don't know. Metcalf, a lot of those guys, like the old Iowa team, I guess. I really enjoyed watching those guys, like I'm sure every little kid did. And then Lincoln McRaven. Watched a lot of Lincoln McRaven. He's probably my favorite.
While you were at UNI, had a lot of wrestling matches, a lot of wrestling tournaments. What was your favorite arena other than the West Gym McLeod Center to go and wrestle at?
I didn't like going to anyone else's arena, that's for sure. Only West Gym. I liked when we had the MAC tournament at West Gym. That was fun. Oh, that's a hard one.
Or who would you like going in and beating at their home arena?
I enjoyed beating the guy in Nebraska's, but that was more personal stuff than the arena itself. That's a hard one. I don't know. I guess mistakes, because there's a lot of history with that one. You know, pretty historic place, I guess, wrestles.
And then, as we're wrapping up the show, is there anything you would like to add before we close this thing down?
You know, just I don't know how unbelievably grateful I am to all the coaches and all my teammates. I guess something I feel like I don't say enough, and something I always thank. You know, I'm unbelievably grateful for the opportunities that Doug gave me to be able to come here, and the people I got to rub shoulders with every day. They really shaped me into the person I am now, and I like who I am. So probably be the last thing.
All right, Taylor. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, sharing a little bit of time with us. And you go back to doing what you're doing, and I hope freestyle wrestling goes well for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time, too.